So last week I made a video talking about how TV finales have been dropping in quality lately. If you want to check that out, it'll be somewhere up there. Now you might be wondering, why is he bringing up a completely different video when today's topic is something completely different? Well, obviously it is to get you guys to click on that one too. Duh. But jokes aside, there is actually a reason. Because while making that video, I kept thinking about finales that genuinely stuck the landing. Endings that didn't just wrap up the plot but elevated everything that came before them. And Attack on Titan, in my opinion, is right at the top of that list. Attack on Titan has one of the best TV finales I have ever seen. And that is a lot because of the intensive character work that went into the show. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that one of Attack on Titan's greatest strengths is the way it handles its villains, or rather, how it blurs the lines between hero and villain. Welcome everyone, this is The Milestoner, and today I want to take a deep dive into the world of Attack on Titan and how it brilliantly handles its quote-unquote villains. Now, Attack on Titan initially starts off the way you expect most stories to. We have our classic protagonist in Eren. He wants revenge for the death of his mother at the hands of Titans, who are our villains for now, mainly the Armored Titan and the Colossal Titan. They are the big overarching threats for the first half of Season 1 until we come across the female Titan, the first active villain on the show. The mystery behind the female Titan was engaging, and she was a genuine threat for our heroes. The eventual reveal of Annie being the female Titan was one of the first major twists in AOT, which shook up the status quo, because now any one of the main characters could be a suspect. And this brings more weightage to the question Erwin asked Eren.
敵は何だと思う?
Sure, in Season 1, we mainly got Annie as an outright villain who Eren had to defeat in one-on-one combat. However, as she was defeated, we saw a glimpse of her past, a father begging for forgiveness and asking her to come back. That right there told us that there was more to this story. And then we moved into Season 2 with the introduction of the Beast Titan, who seems to be a much more fearsome threat. Annie was more of a soldier on a mission. The Beast Titan felt like a calculating, methodical threat, and this is made evident by the way he dispatches Mike and then attacks the scouts at Utgard Castle. And then we get to the reveal, the scene which every AOT fan remembers as the moment the show completely changed the status quo. The reveal of Reiner and Berthold being the Armored and Colossal Titans. The reveal shook up not just the characters but also the audience. It felt like a personal betrayal. However, beneath the villainy, there were hints of something deeper. We learned that Reiner has undergone a split in his personality during his years as a scout, warrior and soldier. One of the biggest strengths of AOT is that it never provides too much exposition at once. Things are revealed, yes, but in a systematic manner as the plot slowly progresses. And this is especially evident in Season 3. Sure, the first half of the season is slow, and the major antagonists are the military police led by Kenny Ackerman and Rod Reese, but they are less of outright villains and more of obstacles for our heroes. But then we moved into the second half. Yes, I am talking about the return to Shinganshina arc, or should I call it perfection.
They were not! Their memory serves as an example to us all! The courageous fallen! The anguished fallen!
The entire scout regiment against the combined might of the Armored, Colossal and Beast Titans. We got amazing character moments, standout action scenes, and Levi going full on crazy on the Beast Titan. But, this arc also gives us critical insight into the villains. Berthold's conversation with Armin provides a look at not a hardened soldier, but a boy who is on a mission, doing the only thing he believes is right. And when he was being eaten by pure Titan Armin, we heard his cries for help. And somewhere, we feel bad for him. Sure, he was a Colossal Titan. He was responsible for everything that had happened in the series so far. He had been the overarching villain of the show. But at the end of the day, he was still just a 16-year-old boy. Reiner also gets more depth here as we finally learn what happened with Marco. The unassuming scout had overheard a conversation between Reiner, Berthold and Annie, and in an effort to maintain their cover, under Reiner's instructions, they removed Marco's gear and left him to be eaten by a pure Titan. This was the moment when Reiner's psyche broke, and he split into a warrior and a soldier. We get to learn very little about the Beast Titan during the actual battle, but it also provides us ample opportunity to explore his threat level. One thing every villain in AOT perfectly pulls off is being intimidating, and we see that peak with this star picture. And later on, when our heroes enter the Jaeger house basement and learn the truth about the outside world, we learn more about the wielder of the Beast Titan, Zeke Jaeger, Eren's half brother. And from this point onwards, the show and its villains completely change. Season 4 is when the show completely moves away from the heroes versus villains dynamic and becomes a character study on war and discrimination. The Marley arc forces us to spend time with people we had viewed as the villains for so long, and we understand just how we as viewers have also been manipulated. Annie, Berthold, and Reiner were children, brainwashed and drafted into the military to serve as warriors. They all wanted to prove their worth to their people and their families. They wanted an escape from the harsh discrimination Eldians were subjected to. We see how Reiner has been affected by the events on Paradis Island, the violence he saw, the friends he lost, the people he betrayed. He almost shoots himself. We learn about the other kids in Marley, especially Gabby Brown, who is essentially Eren. And then we meet back up with Eren Jaeger and the monster he has become. We, the audience, have now seen the plight of Eldens in Marley. We have spent time with the people of Marley. And now, with the Attack Titan and the Scout Regiment attacking, the tables have been flipped. This is the moment AOT changes perspectives. For 3 seasons, we had seen everything through Eren's eyes, through the eyes of the people of Paradis Island, and the Titans were the threats. But now that we have gotten to know the Marlians, we see Eren and his friends as the disruptors. And Eren is one hell of a villain. I still remember the first time I saw him consume the Warhammer Titan. My jaw was on the floor. Through the course of season 4, we learned more about the Marlians. Zeke becomes a more sympathetic character as we learn more about him and his past. Annie's backstory with her father is revealed, and we understand her character better. We feel bad for the old villains because they are no longer just the villains. They are fully fleshed out characters. And now we have a new villain, the protagonist of the show himself, Eren Jaeger. Leading the Jaegerists alongside Flock Forster, Eren plays a lengthy game. He betrays everyone he loves. He leads Zeke into thinking that he is working with him on the euthanization plan and eventually even betrays him. Zeke realizes that Eren has been manipulating events throughout using the powers of the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan, all leading up to this moment. Eren's ultimate goal was to start the Rambling in an effort to destroy Marley and secure a peaceful future for Paradis Island. He had seen the past through his father's eyes, and he knew his people would never be left alone by Marley. Eren has now fully become the villain, and Flock is essentially his henchman, the secondary villain. And we understand him as well. This is a man who is hellbent on protecting his own nation, his own home. Sure, his methods are drastic, but his goals are understandable. And Eren, he is probably one of the most complex characters in fiction. And even more than that, he is a compelling and truly menacing villain. It takes a combined force of both scout regiments and Marleyan warriors to finally take him down in an explosive finale. And it is only then that we finally understand why Eren did what he did. He wanted to protect his friends, and in an effort to do so, he became the villain. The combined pressure of both the Attack Titan and Founding Titan powers, as well as knowledge of both past and future events, had completely broken his mind. He had understood the only way to save the people he loved and ensure a peaceful future for his friends was the destruction of Marley, and he knew his friends would try to stop him. But he accepted death since he could no longer see a path forward other than the rumbling. Eren wanted to be free. He wanted his friends to be free. And in the end, he sacrificed everything in pursuit of that freedom. He became the villain to protect people. And that is essentially what every single villain in Attack on Titan is. Reiner, Berthold, Zeke, Annie, even Flock. They are all people trying to protect their loved ones. So can they really be called outright villains? I don't think so. Because even the characters who were supposed to be the heroes of the story did the worst of things. Erwin sacrificed hundreds of soldiers in pursuit of his dream. Armin killed hundreds of people when he transformed into the Colossal Titan. The scouts killed innocent Marlians during the raid of Liberio. Gabby shot Sasha because she saw her killing innocent people. The scouts even killed their own old comrades in an effort to stop Eren and the rumbling. So, can they be fully deemed as the heroes of the story? I do not think so, because this is what AOT ultimately did. It took a story that began with humanity fighting monsters and slowly transformed it into a story about people. Each character has their own complexities, their own stories. None of them can be neatly categorized as heroes or villains because every single one of them believes that what they are doing is necessary. Each of them is the hero of their own story and the villain in someone else's. The lines between hero and villain cannot be clearly defined with any character in this show, and that is the ultimate brilliance of Attack on Titan. But those are just my thoughts. Do let me know what you think about Attack on Titan, and if you agree with my takes, whether you enjoy the character writing as much as I do. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, do like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.